Hey guys, it's Coach Ro from RocioFlores.com, and today I just wanted to do a live video that I've been saying that I wanted to do the live video for some time now, and life just kept getting in the way. So I actually originally wanted to do 3 live videos. What I wanted to do was go over like a 2018 review, how the year went, etc. And then I wanted to do a 2019 resolution video where I talked about like the goals for this year, and then I wanted to do one where I talked about reading the whole Bible and that experience, but life really didn't care about my plans this year. So first of all, I guess I could start with just what's been going on the last few months. It's been a really tough time for my family. We lost my mother-in-law, and it's been a good couple of months now, just the entire process from her getting sick to passing away to doing her service. And I guess this is technically the first week where we have to get into what we're calling our new normal. That's what everyone's been telling us. Never really experienced the process of grief in I guess in this sense. I've lost people before, but never in somebody you see on a daily basis who's constant in your life. So it's been new. Pretty much that's what it is to all of us in our new life. Basically, we're starting over, and we don't know the process of it, so we're all helping each other out. I live in the house with 2 of my brother-in-laws and my husband, and so she lived with us, so it's a completely new normal for us. It's us starting over, and so it's different, and we're just taking every day as it comes. So she did pass away within the last couple of hours of 2018. So it was definitely a different ending than we thought we were going to get for the year. And it just kind of ended a really crazy year for us, or I think for a lot of people, at least in my life. We had a lot of things going on. I wanted to specifically do a 2018 review because it was a crazy year. From the beginning of the year to the end of the year, so many things happened in so many people's lives. And I was, I'm the kind of person that kind of takes in from everybody. And a lot of people will tell you like, oh, other people's lives shouldn't matter and you shouldn't care. And being real, being real, it's just not realistic to think that other people's lives aren't going to affect yours, that other people's emotions aren't going to affect you, that other people's decisions aren't going to affect you, because they do. On a daily basis, how people act around you can have an effect on you. It doesn't mean that they have to, but it does mean that you make decisions differently because of what people are experiencing or what they're going through. And so 2018 was a year where a lot was happening in everyone's lives that it affected me, definitely. So hello. Thank you for joining the live. Just talking a little bit about 2018. Specifically for me, it was a big year because me and Tony got on the weight loss plan and we lost the weight, and so it was really cool to be able to do it together, which is a really big difference from when I've tried to lose weight in the past. Doing it together made it easier because I didn't have to cook as many different meals. It made it easier to plan. I felt like I had a support system, and I was able to show that it wasn't just me, that I could help somebody else and somebody in my life, because that's really what's hard. You can help strangers all you want. People in your life don't care until you help somebody in your life. So it was really nice to be able to show people, look, like, this is real, it's legit. And it really helped us I really think it helped us to do like the studying and stuff like that, because it gave us a focus throughout the year, and our health wasn't the only thing we thought of, but it was something that people could see us doing together, which was really helpful. I also did my nutrition certification this last year, which helped me to be able to then create my program, and I finally got it done, and it's out and it's public. I also read the entire Bible, which was a huge goal that I wanted to do. So the goal was to read it and to notate it. So if you could see, like, it is fully notated. Having stuff from in here. That itself was like a really big journey and a very difficult journey. Like, it was definitely a lot. It's easier than I thought it was going to be, and it was harder than I thought it was going to be. Easy because I know how to note take, I guess. I never wanted to sit down and just read, and I always thought it was going to be hard to do. Oh, I can't do that. And then to just sit down and take notes, kind of like if you were in class. I just did it like if I was like in school. I treated it like an assignment, and I had to get it done, and it was something that it wasn't an option, and I just did it, and it was easy to do. The hard part was really the taking in the information and how it affects your life and what it means. And because I wanted to focus on some things longer than I could, I wanted to kind of explore some things more than I could. If I wanted to move forward, I had to kind of keep moving forward, even though some of these things really stuck in my head. And then a lot of it was like, oh my God, what does that mean? And then I freak out, and then I have anxiety, and then I, like I'm trying to figure out what it all means and what it means in my life and how it affects me. And then I just had to keep reminding myself that this isn't the only time I'm going to read it. This isn't the only time that I'm going to go through this. This isn't the only time that I'm going to get a chance to explore these concepts in detail. So I had to keep reminding myself that I can keep going forward and I can come back, and that it's okay to have these questions, and it's okay to explore them more and study more later. And so that's what I get to do this year. This year, instead of like just reading it or note taking, I get to go through it with topics, and I get to explore them deeply. And I didn't give myself a specific goal. The way I did last year was I had, specific number of chapters that I had to do per day, specific chapters I had to hit at certain times. So like in my planner, I wrote it in pen. I couldn't go backwards. I had to hit those goals at that time because I wanted to make sure that I never gave up. This year, while I'm giving myself sort of like a number to hit up each day, it's not about the number. It's about what I learned through it and the concepts that I gained through it. So I'm going through, and for example, what I would like to do is go through the entire Bible and notate all of the different stories. So just keep track so that I know where the stories are. The reason I want to do that is so that I can, when talking to people, I understand references that I can use to help people. And it was another thing I did last year was a discipleship class, which I think taught me a lot, and it made it a lot easier to understand what discipleship means and whether it's something I want to do or not. And a big topic was to talk about the stories and how we use stories to attract people and to help people and to explain things to people. And I have a hard time with just with referencing. I have a really hard time where I'm like, oh, I know this, I don't remember where it is or where it's from or how, but I know what it meant. And I know that the concept is what matters, not so much the details, but I want to be able to reference the details if necessary. And then I also want to go through the entire Bible and write down all the promises and all of the commands so that I know them. And the reason I'm doing promises and then commands is because actually I chose to do this before I heard this somewhere else, but somebody, I think it was at church, that they said that for every command there's a promise to why we were given that command, right? So I want to go through and understand the promises first, so then when I'm reading the commands I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, I understand why it would be important. So that's sort of what I want to do with that. But it was a really big deal to be able to do this in the first place in 2018. Hi guys, thank you for joining. I'm just talking about 2018. I'm a bit behind on my review of the year. Had a lot going on, so I wasn't able to get the year started off on the right foot, but I'm getting started now. So another thing to go over is last year I wrote this little, so you could see, I had like a little plan for the year. And what I've been doing the last few years, instead of doing like a resolution, I chose like a word, or that was going to be the focus for the year. So last year the word was hope. And I had ended 2017 with like this feeling of hope, this feeling of like, I don't know, I just felt like things would be okay. And then, I don't know, the whole year things weren't okay. They were just like, it was like drama after drama after drama after drama. And not personally in my own life, it was in all the people around me, all the people that I love and care for. And so that made it really hard to stay hopeful, which then helps that my focus was to be hopeful, because, I mean, I still had to do the things. So for example, I wrote down focus, plan, stick to the plan, just live, keep going, checklists off, be excited to see what happens, work on your weaknesses, right? And so I had 3 things down that were my weaknesses, was to trust God, to expect good, and to allow blessings. And I think that that's kind of what I had to do throughout the year. I had to work on my confidence. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Last year, I really had to work on my confidence in general. So we started going to church more consistently, which I guess isn't that big of a deal. For a lot of people, that's not a big deal. But for me, the issue was that if I was going to commit to going to church, that I also had to commit to make relationships with the people at church. And that means actually talking to people and not just sitting in the back being all quiet and afraid, which takes a lot of confidence and courage to get up and introduce yourself to somebody or to just be a part of anything. I had to work on assertiveness, and trust me, I was very much tested this year when it came to that. In relationships and in general, I'm really bad at that, and so I had to work on that. And then in decisiveness for allowing blessings, that was a big one as well, and I definitely got a big old test of that throughout the end of the year. Lots of stuff happened that allowed me to have to choose to allow God to let things happen in a good way. And usually I would be the one taking control and trying to freak out about everything, and I didn't really have that chance. I didn't have that ability this year. And so I definitely feel like 2018, I got to work on all of the things that I had written down. So this year I made a new one, and I made sort of like a web, and I'll share it in a picture later. Oh, thank you for the hearts. They're so cute. This year I wrote, do you guys remember like in school we would do like the web, like where you write something in the middle and then it's like the spider web to create ideas for like writing? I did that, and I chose as my word for focus this year is the word faith. And off of that, I kind of branched off to a few other words. Actually, there's like a website where you can choose your word of the year, and it gave me the word courage. And that's one of the words I had written down next to it, because I think I definitely need courage in general. And so some of the things I branched off, right? The things I want to focus on, one is to seek God first in everything that I do. Because I think that God sometimes is an afterthought. Not in a like pushing God away kind of sense, but more in like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh, I can ask God to help. It's like always like the second thought instead of the first thought. And so I want to make sure that I'm thinking God first, and then moving forward. If there's fear, I think the fear is going to be there regardless, but I think I need to just work on that in order for the fear to go away. The next one was to increase my confidence, which is where courage comes in. And there's confidence in all sorts of things, right? First, in my self-identity, I've worked really hard the last few years to kind of figure out who I am, what I'm okay with, what I'm not okay with, what my values are, what are the morals I agree with, what are my abilities and the knowledge that I have. And so I need to have more confidence in what is and what isn't, because when we're tested or when somebody questions you, usually how I react is by being like, wait, am I? Like, is that right? And so because I question myself, I don't allow myself to show people that I do know these things. Like somebody questions what I know when it comes to nutrition, and in my head, instead of being like, no, I know this, I was like, okay, I'll just step back. I'll look it up again. And then I'm right. And I'm like, I should have stood my ground. Same with just information about just my understanding of God and my understanding of my career, my understanding of my abilities, my understanding of my relationships. So I want to be able to increase that confidence in myself and allow myself to just stand with what I know instead of second guessing myself, which is something that I struggle with a lot. Along the side, courage, I want to be able to speak up for myself and for others and stand my ground for myself and for others. Because I think this is a big one. I've had many instances where I should have said something when somebody was acting in a way that was incorrect, and I didn't, because I was afraid that I was wrong. So I need to first understand when I am right and when I can be right for others. And then within seeking God first, I want to make sure that I focus on work, both on the daily focuses and the vision of what I want to do in the future. With my studies, make sure that I maintain a godly worldview as I'm learning, because I'm not taking these classes through like so I'm doing 2 certification programs this year, and since I'm doing that, I want to make sure that I maintain a godly worldview and that I keep him in mind at all times as I'm learning new things, because a lot of the times, we're taught things from very many different worldview perspectives, and that's okay. I think that's a good thing. But I need to make sure that I understand how I can turn it back to God, so that when an opportunity to talk to somebody comes up in a way that they're open to talking about God, I know how to explain it from their worldview and from my worldview and from God's worldview. So, it's just a matter of keeping the right focus. Same goes with prioritizing relationships. That's a really big one for me this year that I want to focus on. I'm really bad at that. Like, I'll be like, yeah, let's get together. And then 3 months later, oops, I didn't send them a message, or I haven't reached out. I haven't talked to anybody. So I want to make sure that I actually focus on that. And I even like put a tracker on my planner, like make sure that I'm seeing somebody at least once a month, that I'm spending time with family, that I'm spending time with friends, that I'm not letting months go by before I check in with people. Because I think that's, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much other people struggle with it, but I struggle with it a lot. And I think a lot of it's that anxiety that comes up with the idea that being in a social setting and what might happen and what people will say, and also just I tend to go inwards when things are tough, when times are hard. Instead of seeking support from my support system, I hide from them. And then when things are good and I figured it out on my own 3 months later, that's when I'm like, oh, hey guys. And instead this year I really want to focus on seeking support when I need it. That way I don't allow myself to go inwards for months at a time and regress in my progress. Hello, thank you for joining. I'm just going over some of the goals that I had throughout 2019 that I'm going to be working on. Another big part that branches off of faith is I put the word maintenance. And the word maintenance, basically what I mean is that I want to continue the work I started last year. The last few years have been, if I look back, there was like a period of first discovery, right? Then there was a period of trying to understand those discoveries. And then last year was actually putting those discoveries to action. And this year, I just want to maintain that action. That's all I want to do. I just want to focus on continuing with my personal growth, continuing with my health, continuing with my work, continuing with my service, continuing with my education. Because it's really easy for you to see some success. Okay, I learned this, or I did this and I did that, and then I don't have to do it anymore. And then something difficult happens in your life and boom, bam, you're gone. You allow it to stop being a part of your life. So now when times are tough, you don't continue, and then you just give up, and then you regress, and then now you have to go through this entire journey of discovery and understanding and execution. So instead, what I want to do is just make sure that I'm maintaining all aspects of the growth that I have had in the last few years, so that I can continue with my career and with my education and with everything that I'm doing. And one of the other things that I put on here is optimism. I want to focus on, I wrote down His good, as in God's. I want to make sure that I'm seeing God's focus and God's, His plans for me. And no matter how things go, whether they're good or bad, I have to understand that it's always going to be for His good. It's His will. And His good is eventually my good. So I just have to remember that, and that when things are hard, it's not going to be hard forever. And I put down the words like patience. When it comes to relationships, I put patience, perspective, kindness, and love. And then time, because I have to make sure that I actually make time and that I seek opportunities to actually prioritize my relationships. Now, I do have very specific goals. If you guys have ever learned about how to make SMART goals, you want to make sure that you're writing very specific notes on the goals. You want to make sure that they're something that's measurable. You want to make sure it's attainable, something that you're going to be able to reach, and you have to have a time frame. So I do have specific goals. A general overview, for example, I want to hit a goal of, hello, thank you for the thumbs up. I want to hit a goal of 120 pounds. That's my goal to maintain throughout the year. So I did gain about 5 pounds throughout the whole holiday season, which I was expecting. I mean, I didn't expect it from the holidays itself, but with being in and out of the hospital and with all the stress of everything that was going on, we were eating out a lot, and we were having to choose the best of what was available. And there were many times where we just said, screw it, we're just going to have what we want. So 5 pounds, it's not horrible. I understood the entire time what was happening. I was making sure that we were keeping track of what we were doing. So I think we did pretty good for what we were presented with. And so it's just a matter of getting back to that goal weight, and then maintaining it throughout the year, because I want to maintain the habits regardless of what goals we hit. It's part of our lifestyle, not just a short-term diet. And my brothers are on board now. So my brother-in-law are both allowing me to cook for them and help them with a healthy meal plan. And so I've got specific goals for them throughout the year and what we need to hit and how we're gonna. So we're starting with just creating a new habits, and then from there, like they're already losing weight, which is really good. But I wanted them to focus not on the weight, but on the habits themselves and on how they think about food and how they relate to making those decisions about food. So we got all that down. I got those trackers down, everything. Another thing that as far as relationships go, I want to maintain relationships. So I have like goals related to seeing people in my life. I make sure that I'm actually being intentional about it. And it sounds kind of creepy to say like you have to track who you spend time with. But if you don't spend time with them, And I want to be intentional about whether or not I see my friends and my family members. So, a lot of the times people are like, well, you have to prioritize people in your life. Okay, well, what does that mean? Because life's busy, people have schedules and you can't always make time to see everyone every day. And realistically, we're adults, we have stuff to do and we can't do that. So to say, I'm going to text my friend this week and I'm going to make sure that we have coffee. And then I'm going to text another one and make sure that we have lunch, etc. Like, I'm going to make sure that I'm writing that down into my planner and that it's becoming like a plan. Because that's the only way that I'm going to be able to actually do it. Some things that I want to do this year as far as, so I got a really cool planner and I'll show you guys a picture of it in a little bit, but I got it as my Christmas gift from my Secret Santa for my sister-in-law Erica, and it helps me with setting my goals, which I had already been thinking about for the last 3 months of the year, but it gave me a place to write it all down in one area. I love it. And so for example, for my heart and spirit goals, I want to go back to my Bible study group at church. I have to text them and ask them when it starts. That's something I want to keep focusing on. I don't know if any of you guys do like groups that are at other people's places or at church. I had never done that before, and I did the discipleship group last year, and it was really, really helpful to have like a group of people that you could see every week and something. It's almost like going to school. I don't know. I'm like a homework person, so I need that accountability where I have to be somewhere and I have to do something and I have to get it done by a certain time. So if I do it on my own, then it could go weeks where I don't do anything. So I have to make sure that I have that accountability, and I really like having that. I have several service projects that I want to do this year. And then, for example, the reading that I'm doing this year, that's all within the heart and spirit goals that I have for the year. I have financial goals as far as selling my program and creating the next program that I'm going to have. I'm going to focus on doing that at the end of the year. And then my work, career, study goals, I have 2 certification programs that I'm doing. I have a program that I'm going to create. I have the program that I'm offering right now. So there's like a lot of little things that I have set for the year. I have dates that I want to complete them by. I have specific things that I want to do. And then each of those goals gets to break down into smaller goals that are more achievable. I have faith for 2019 that 2019 will be a good year. I don't think that 2018 was a bad year. I think it was a difficult year. I think that, I was able to prove to myself that no matter how much turmoil and how many difficulties come up, you could still get things done. You could still do the things that you need to get done. And it's something that I don't know if I believed before, where I saw these people who are living these lives where they get everything done. And I'm like, there's no way these people are that productive. They must not, how do they do it, right? And I went from not knowing what needs to be done to understanding what needs to be done, but not really understanding why, to understanding why it needs to be done, but not seeing how, to seeing how it can be done and doing it. And now it's all a matter of continuing. And I think we all go through those steps in our life where we need to understand what's important and go from not knowing it to knowing it to doing it. And that's where I'm at. So I want to be able to continue that process and just keep going from there. I know that I haven't been posting as much content as I would like to post. And so that's the focus of just this month, is to get content up, because I want each of you to have encouragement each day. I want you guys to have something to mull over on every given day, because the reason that I do quotes and questions, and the reason I do quotes in the morning is because that's what we like to get on Instagram for. We get on Instagram for some sort of inspiration, not for, I mean, a lot of you I know are, you guys have your funny memes, right? And some of you have your health and nutrition posts. Some of you have your glam and beauty stuff. Some of you just like following celebrities. But it's all about being inspired about life, right? You're seeing these things and you're like, oh, this is so cool. Look at these people. Look at these lives. Look at these things that people live and lead. And you need something that helps you go throughout the day. If we didn't like what we were seeing, we wouldn't be on here, right? So I do the quotes because it gives you something to think about every morning. Just something to look at and be like, oh, how does this come into my life, right? And that's something that's helped me throughout the years, just have something to think about. And sometimes I don't know if you guys read the entire content piece or if you just read the quote. And you may read into the quote something that's completely different than what I wrote about the quote. And that's okay, because that's what happens to me. I'll read something and then I'm like, I'll think something about it. Then something happens. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That, like, I remember that quote and that reminds me of this. And, oh, I can act this way in this situation. And it gives you just a different perspective in life in general. And I know a lot of people make fun of quotes. Hello. A lot of people make fun of quotes on Instagram, right? Because everybody posts motivational quotes. But you don't know when you'll need the motivation. You don't know when something will be so hard in your life that you'll need something to help you move forward. And one sentence can make a lifetime of difference. So that's why I post the quotes. The questions, on the other hand, the reason I do it midday is because if you're checking your Instagram midday, what do you want? What do you need out of life? What's all this information that you've been taking in throughout the day? What are you going to do about it? Sometimes you need something that makes you question yourself and makes you question your motives and makes you question your decisions and your actions and allows you to move forward with an intentional step. And so I ask you a question, and it may be a health question or a marketing question or a personal development question. I don't know what you guys need at any given point in time, but I believe that if you need it, it'll be there. And so I want to get back in the, groove of posting those consistently. And then I will try my best to share a little bit more personal parts of my journey because I haven't been doing that. I haven't been sharing my face. I haven't been sharing, in general, I haven't been sharing my life. And that's something that I want to make sure because I'm a normal person like everybody else. Everybody on here is normal. Even if you follow the people who post only glam stuff like luxuries and big houses and big cars and the big marketing people who only post about all the awesomeness and everything. Okay, perfect. It's great. I'm sure that's really motivating and I love it. And some people are doing great, but everyone's still a normal person at the end of the day. And I think that everyone should be showing themselves as a normal person every day because if you want some normal person to join you on your business venture, you want a normal person to believe in their personal growth they can experience or in the faith that they can see or in the health that they can achieve, they need to see that it's normal people behind these accounts. It's normal people behind these inspirational stories, that a normal person can achieve anything. It's not just an issue of these perfect people doing perfect things. I follow these two accounts and I can't remember their names, their specific name tags on here, but one of them is a health journey girl and another one is she does beauty and lifestyle blogging. But I love the contrast between them. I love both of them. I think they're really cool and I love seeing their stuff on here. And I follow a ton of people. So I see every kind of person. All of you are awesome. And if you're not awesome, I unfollow you. So I think that's what people should do. But there's one of these girls, like I swear, she doesn't post makeup. She doesn't look glamorous or anything at any given point. She'll post her sweaty self. And she posted this picture last time where she's just wearing like sweats and slippers and a big old shirt like this. Like I'm wearing pajamas right now. And she says, this is me. Like the most unrealistic part of this picture is that I'm wearing a bra. And I thought that was so funny because on any given day, if I'm just going to be on the computer all day and I have to do these things, I don't care what time of the day it is. I will wear whatever. And I love seeing that other people who are living, inspiring, because these people have like thousands and thousands and thousands of people following them. The fact that they can inspire that many people and they can affect that many people without her having to look perfect, I think is amazing, right? And on the other hand, this other girl that I follow, I have no idea how she does it. All her posts are perfect. All her beauty shots are perfect. Every single, even like her stories are perfect. Everything looks beautiful and organized and just on brand. And like I was telling my husband, how does she do this? Like, she works and she's a mom, or she's gonna be a mom, right? So she's pregnant, and she does her YouTube and beauty stuff, and she posts all her Bible study stuff, and she has a full-time job, and she's a full-time student, and she's married, and she has a beautiful house, and she has dogs, and she, like, how in the world does she do everything so perfect, right? And I'm like, she's not perfect, nobody is, but she shows me that you can show your best self, and that you can show the beauty of life, and you can show that you can give people inspiration in a different kind of way, and it shows me something I can aspire to be, right? And so I love both of those ends, and I want to be able to show you both of those ends, the organized self that has all of it under control, and the completely disorganized person who is a real person but can still get both things done, right? That's the hope. And so I hope that this year I'm able to be a little bit more myself. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable in front of a camera than I was when I first started. If you see, I go back and I watch some of the old videos, I'm like, oh, I hate it. It's horrible. And now look at me. I don't really care what I look like, because I'm caring more about what I'm saying. And so, again, 2018, oh man, 2018 was a year. Just, it took forever to get through that year. Forever. And the way it ended was horrible. I mean, honestly, it was to be the last hour of the year, and to know that you don't have a person in your life. It was very difficult, but at the same time, there was hope in it, because we knew where she's going. We knew that she was going with God, and she's going to be completely happy. She got to end the year in the best way possible. The worst way possible for us, because we don't get to have her in our lives, and the pain that comes from losing somebody is in the pain of knowing that they're not here anymore, but not in the pain of knowing that she is in a much better place than we are. She's in a beautiful place, and there's hope in that. So I got to start the year with a whole lot of hope, and I didn't know where that hope was going to be needed. So I got to see where it was needed in the end. 2018, I just hope to have faith and courage and patience to get through the year. And again, it made a huge difference to go through and read my entire Bible, and to give myself that discipline and that understanding and knowledge, and to take in so much from God directly. So if I were you, I would definitely do this. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to make a post, and I'm going to share with you guys my little web that I told you about in my planner. I'm also going to find, I don't know where she got the planner from, so I'm just going to share a picture. Maybe you guys can look for it, and then give you guys a link to the Bible itself. And then I promised to finish my book journeys. I have 2 book journeys started from last year that I didn't get to finish. I am reading the books. I just haven't been able to go on my blog posts and update them. But I will be reading those books and finishing them up soon. So I'm hoping to finish them up within the next month and a half, so that I can post them and share those books with you guys. I think they've made a huge difference throughout the year. And then I'll be starting a new book that I will move forward with. And then I'll just share book journeys from there on, moving forward. And then another thing that Tony and I are doing, forgot to share, is we're doing devotionals every week, and I'm going to start sharing those with you guys. So they're on the app YouVersion. It's like if you look up Bible on any Play Store or the Apple or the iTunes, it'll be the one that has like a little Holy Bible. It's like a little cute like Bible, and it's from YouVersion. That's the name of the app, and they have tons of plans on there. Most of them are about 5 to 7 days, so they're a week, right? And it's like 5 minutes reading a day, which is nothing. But what we're doing it, so we just started one, and we're doing it as a little group. So we, as a little group, get to write notes in there of what we're learning throughout it. And it's really the big thing that I want to establish is a daily plan where I'm intentionally spending a little bit of time with God every day. And so this way I know that I'm doing it, and that my husband's doing it, and that family members are doing it. And so I'm going to start sharing the link with you guys, so that I can slowly, bring in some new people to do it with us. We'll share the plan itself. Whether or not I share the direct link to join our group will be based on whether or not I feel like you want to do it with us, because I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable by it being like a super public group, because a lot of times you share personal stuff in there. So I will share the links to the actual plan so that you guys can do it alongside us. And so if anybody wants to do that, make sure you send me a message and let me know, or comment in the pictures in my comments or whatever. You know what I mean. Thank you so much for watching this. Those of you that watched it, I'm going to tag you guys in a post and say thank you. But again, I hope to be able to give you guys just a little bit of step forward this year, just a way to move forward with your life, whether it's inspiration or a question that makes you think, or a blog post that teaches you how to do something that you didn't know how to do before. My hope this year is to be able to impact people in a positive way and to show people faith and courage and how to prioritize the things that are important in your life. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. I'm going to post it on YouTube when I'm done here, so you guys can watch it on there. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful 2019. I hope that you guys all have your own personal resolutions, your own personal goals for the year. If you just joined late, make sure that you go back to the beginning and you watch this whole thing, okay? Thank you, guys. Bye.